Mr. Timothy Reed is here on behalf of the City of Three Rivers, and Detective Sam Smallcombe is also present, as well as Chief Bowling. Tells me they take zoning seriously in Three Rivers, which I do appreciate. This is a request for a compliance order. The defendant received a summons in this matter in August of 2025 for open storage violations at 116 Middle Street. The defendant did not respond to that, and a default judgment entered. Plaintiff at this point is asking for a compliance order to bring this property into compliance. While we're at it, we might as well swear Detective Smallcombe if he is needed to testify. You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter or the next matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
And would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Sam Smallcombe, Smallcombe.
Does not appear the defendant Andrew Chupp is present. Mr. Reed, what's the status?
Thank you, Your Honor. The property was rechecked today. It is still in violation. In fact, since the entry of the default and issuance of the summons in August of 2025, the house actually sustained a pretty detrimental, substantial house fire. It's unlivable. It's been tagged by the building official, but we're just here for the 4.11 violation, which is the open storage garbage rubbish. As the court is familiar, the property is essentially completely cluttered with scrap vehicles, scrap material.
And it isn't a very big lot.
It's not. I do have photos if the court would like.
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
Just had some photographs of around the time frame in which the summons was issued.
There's a sign on the front that says "Go away."
Yes.
Oh boy. Did you take these pictures, Detective Smallcombe?
Yes, Your Honor.
Those fair and accurate depiction of what the property looked like.
Yes. And then we brought a few more pictures from an admin search warrant that we did.
There are 11 photographs. There are fair and accurate pictures of what was just seen in August of last year.
May I approach? Usually 3 photographs were taken pursuant to an administrative search warrant that was executed in December after the house fire.
All right.
Still showing violations.
The 11 photos from, do you remember the date these were taken?
Were they the date on the summons? Which contact date you have listed as 8/16. It was on or about August 16th. It would have been within that time frame.
The second set would be in December after the house fire.
Okay.
The 11 photos from August Smith admitted as Exhibit A. I'll call it number 1. Plaintiff's exhibit are numbers and defendant's exhibits are letters. Then there's also looks like either a camper or a motorhome. Is it a camper, a pull behind, or a motorhome?
It's a camper that has been recently added to the property. You can tell by the pictures, this camper is in serious disrepair.
Are people living in it?
We suspect there are, but every time we attempt to make contact, there's no one answers at the camper.
Is that what that will play?
And what was the date of the December photos?
I believe it was December 14th, but I don't want to.
All right. They're admitted as Exhibit 2. And is this photograph from December pretty much what the property looks like now?
Yes, Your Honor. I drove by this morning in preparation for the hearing, and it looks worse. like they've added more vehicles in there. I don't know how that's possible if they have.
All right, let's look at your order. It's 13 pages long.
Well, some of it, Your Honor, that you have there on the motion, I have attached as an exhibit, just calls to that property that go into 2020. And if you notice, this is just police, a lot of various matters, but a lot of junk and rubbish. You'll notice a lot of general civil trash ordinance violation complaints, that this has been an ongoing issue with that property.
Is there an order in here?
There is not, Your Honor. We had submitted, we were unclear whether or not he was going to be present. In my request, that we are asking that the city, if it's not fixed within 30 days of today's date, that the city may go in and abate the nuisance itself, and put the cost on the tax rolls.
What you're about to hear is not just about trash or zoning paperwork. This is a story about a property that spiraled out of control, a homeowner who never showed up, and a city forced to step in after years of warnings were ignored. The city of Three Rivers takes zoning seriously, and today the court is dealing with the consequences of someone who didn't. Open storage violations, abandoned vehicles, scrap materials, and now a devastating house fire have turned a once livable property into a growing public concern. The defendant was summoned back in August 2025. He didn't respond. That silence triggered a default judgment, and now the city is asking the court for the power to clean up the mess itself and bill the property owner for the cost. As you watch this hearing, pay close attention to two things: the photographic evidence and the judge's tone. When a judge starts talking about neighborhood history, community pride, and public safety, you know this case has crossed from a minor violation into something much bigger. This isn't about punishment, it's about restoring order before a bad situation becomes dangerous.
I guess I should correct, not nuisance, but rather the violation as cited under 411.2.
All right. The city requests that such a compliance order contain language that would allow the city to enter onto the subject property is not brought into compliance within 30 days, and to remove and dispose of the items in question, and the cost of the city for such actions to be spread upon the tax rolls of the subject property. That order would require the defendant to keep the property in compliance moving forward. They also order the defendant to pay attorney fees and costs, which may be spread upon the tax rolls of the subject property. Do you have a cost?
I do not have a cost for this, Your Honor. I can submit an affidavit of cost on it at the time of the order for the court to review for reasonableness.
All right, that's good.
We believe part of this, Your Honor, is the property is used to stage for scrapping type of business. So there's constant, one piece of property comes in, they strip it down, and the remnants are left that's not of value, and then so on and so forth. So
Yeah, just in these pictures from August, there's tires and there's a electric range sitting in the front yard and various demolished cars. The pictures from February or December show worse. You also may order that no one may reside on this property, either in a camper or in the dwelling.
I will include that into the order.
None of you are old enough to remember, maybe not any I am. One time Middle Street was one of the finest streets in the town. When my grandfather was young, they were Fourth Ward guys. They lived on Wood Street and Washington Street. And this particular neighborhood was within walking distance of downtown. And those were all fine, single-family, well-built homes. Even when I was a kid, that was a really nice neighborhood. Of course, it was just up the street from the high school. Only flooded sometimes.
Yes.
Anyway, it's, they were at one time very fine homes. All right. Mr. Reed, you may submit the order by default.
We'll say the city is revitalizing that area. There's been some new construction and blighted homes that have been torn down and sold to
Now,
developers.
just on the other side of that, I'm really dating myself, was the slaughterhouse. There was where the Edgewater apartments are, was a meatpacking facility. This was before you were born. And the Wood Street Bridge was still open at that time. It's not even there anymore.
Where the dam is at?
Where the dam is, there was a bridge that went across there that connected Fourth Ward to Second Ward. And it was a lot of traffic over there in a surging, vital neighborhood. Anyway, there was a packing plant right there along the river. That was torn down many, many years ago. And then they put the apartment complex in there, and they do a nice job of trying to keep that complex nice. So why shouldn't we fix this up? All right, that's Mr. Andrew Chuck. I'm not sure what his deal is, but we'll wait your default order. All right, next matter is Daniel Meacham. File number here is 252148. ON. It's another violation of zoning in Three Rivers. Garbage and rubbish.
So there are two files there.
Yes, there's two files. There's 148 and 49. The other one has to do with camping. Is this where Bill Gose and Mandy Allen were?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't mean to laugh, but
Well, they had a no contact provision, and Mandy was in jail, and then Bell got arrested. And they put him in the same cell. As it turns out, they're both in custody again, but they were down on their luck, and they were camping apparently on this property on Hoffman Street.
several years ago, I was before the court with the city of Sturgis property where Miss Allen was residing where they weren't supposed to be residing.
Well,
so.
she was with Jeff Brown over there, and you'd have some zoning issues with him, but she's been trying to make her way in the world, and she's struggling.
So this property, Your Honor, by way of reference, is the old Portage Power Company there at Hoffman Pond.
This is where the case effectively ends because photographs don't argue back. Once the detective confirms these images are fair and accurate, the court is no longer relying on complaints or opinions. It's relying on proof. What you're seeing described is a property overwhelmed with scrap vehicles, garbage, and debris on a lot that isn't even large enough to safely contain it. Add in a camper in serious disrepair, suspected occupants, and repeated failed attempts to make contact, and the risk level climbs fast. From a legal standpoint, the fire actually makes things worse. A burned, unlivable structure doesn't pause zoning enforcement, it increases urgency. Fire hazards, unauthorized living conditions, and unchecked accumulation of junk are exactly what zoning codes are designed to prevent. When the judge remarks that the property looks worse than before, that's a signal. Compliance isn't happening. And when compliance doesn't happen, courts don't ask anymore. They authorize action.
It used to be owned by a different property owner. So this includes...
Mr. Learn doesn't own this anymore?
No, this is owned by Mr. Meacham. We're not necessarily convinced that we're not sure exactly what type of conveyance in which Mr. Meacham and Mr. Learn entered into. However, Meacham was the purported owner and is also shown to be the owner of a member of Waterways Unlimited LLC, an unregistered foreign LLC that is out of, I believe, the state of Wyoming. But Mr. Meacham has held himself out to be the owner on a number of occasions. Mr. Meacham was served with this. In talking to the court and the magistrate, Mr. Meacham reached out to the court. The ROA indicates that he had reached out to the court before the defaults were entered. However, he never appealed the defaults nor took action to have the defaults removed.
So is this the actual power plant parcel, or is
It's
this
all one parcel. So
Yeah.
this includes Boys Dam.
all the way back to
Yeah.
Boys Town?
Yes. And so this includes that. If you look at the map, the zoning map, it's all one large parcel that includes all of that. In fact, this property technically extends part of the Airport Industrial Park, borders it. And then also parts of Buckhorn Road, off of Buckhorn Road.
All right, what is the city requesting here?
So here, Your Honor, I do have a proposed order, if I may approach. Here we're asking, so by way of reference, there is a lot of garbage and junk all strewn around the property. We don't know if Mr. Meacham is permitting homeless encampments or if he's just not doing anything about it. However, there's a lot of garbage around there. Been a number of fire department calls for fires and other junk and disrepaired camper on the property, as well as many campsites that are just kind of eyesore as well as inappropriate. Under the city code, this is zoned R2. Under R2, camping is not a permitted or a special use, therefore it's prohibited. And so we're asking that the court enter an order requiring him to remove all junk from the property and campsites by March the 1st, and if not removed, that the city may enter upon the property and remove those and dispose of them as the city sees fit.
Well, I've got to give at least 21 days to appeal.
That is fine. The court can change that to the 21 days.
Now, I'm looking at these notices. The member of Waterways Unlimited, unregistered foreign owner and owner of 700 East Hoffman. The ticket,
That is where he was registered to live, which is Wellborn, which was Monty Learn's address.
you've got an Elburn, ELBURN on the judgment, but it's Wellburn, which is Mr. Learn's address outside of Three Rivers. Let's look at the other one. If they,
That did come from the court, Your Honor.
well, then we
And
screwed
then,
up.
but the notice had the same on it, and I know Mr. Meacham contacted the court after that, the original notice was sent out on the citation.
Yeah, these both came out as Elburn rather than Wellburn Road, so if it was sent in the mail with that, he never would have got it, I don't think. I'm looking at I can't see the register of actions, where he contacted the court. Here, the notice is Wellburn Road, 12524 Wellburn Road. This is a blessing and a curse. It's as you said, a large, wonderful piece of property. It also contains what's commonly known as the Boys Dam, which is in terrible disrepair and possible failure, which would flood the city of Three Rivers. And the owner theoretically would be responsible for the maintenance and repair of that dam. The state of Michigan this is on their radar, and
This is the court drawing a hard line. The order is clear, detailed, and unforgiving. The property owner has 21 days to appeal, and if nothing changes, the city can legally enter the land, remove everything in violation, and charge every dollar back to the property through the tax roll. That means cleanup crews, disposal costs, legal fees, and ongoing enforcement, all billed to the owner whether they like it or not. Ignore the order, and the next step is contempt of court. What makes this case especially serious is what the judge highlights at the end: quality of life. These aren't victimless violations. Blight affects neighbors, property values, public safety, and the reputation of an entire city. The court is also openly concerned about the dam on the property, hinting that future legal action could be far more expensive and far more severe if it isn't addressed. Now we want to hear from you. Should the city have stepped in sooner, or did the property owner have more chances than they deserved? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if this breakdown helped you understand the case, and subscribe for more real courtroom decisions that shape entire communities.
So it'd be one thing to own it, it'd be another thing to get rid of it and not own it. But if Daniel Meacham of Waterways Unlimited is the titled owner of this.
And by the way, just so the court is aware, this has been, the neighbors of that property on all sides have been pretty much, they've been complaining to the city. There's been issues of, at one point, I believe there was a Ryder truck or I don't know if it was a Ryder or Penske truck that Mr. Meacham was living in on the property. It's just been a very big eyesore. If anybody's driven down Hoffman, it just looked like somebody opened up the back of a garbage truck and dumped it out onto the property.
Yes, and that's a very pretty spot. And it's like one of the gateways into the city of Three Rivers. You drive right past that and think, what kind of town is this? Or what you're asking for, defendants shall cause the violations contained in the citation, specifically the accumulation and collection of garbage and rubbish as defined by the city of Three Rivers, shall be immediately removed and subject to the property kept in compliance. Defendant shall cease the activities upon the subject property related to camping and prohibited by the city of Three Rivers zoning. All camping equipment, materials, and campsites shall be immediately removed from the property, subject to the property to be maintained in compliance with this order. Today is February 11th. They have 21 days to appeal this. So 20 days would be March 1st.
So I believe 21 days from today would be March 4th, Your Honor.
I'll make that a 4. After March 4th, the violations still exist. The city may at its election enter onto the property and abate any remaining violation by removing all garbage, rubbish, and camping sites, materials, or related items in violation of the ordinance. Dispose of the same. Defendants fail to comply with this order shall result in requiring the defendant to appear before the court and show cause why the defendant should not be found in contempt. The order does not limit the city's ability to seek additional remedies permitted by law. The defendant shall be responsible for the cost of removal, abatement undertaken by the city. All costs associated with the abatement shall be assessed against the property on the tax roll as a zoning assessment. City may bring additional legal actions against the defendant for the payment of said costs and expenses associated with bringing the property into compliance. Both of these are things that go to the quality of life in the city of Three Rivers, and both are worthy of pursuing. I am concerned about this whole parcel of property and the condition of the dam and who owns it and who's going to fix it or who's going to take it out, or we're talking lots of money. Same thing, Mr. Reed, you may submit an affidavit of costs.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll have those submitted by the end of the week.
This property evolves in the course of the year. In the spring, it's a giant body of water. And as summer goes on, it fills with lily pads and turns green. Swans, geese. In the winter, it's frozen and it's a big giant white pond. Anyway, it is a signature parcel of property in the city of Three Rivers. All right, I've signed the order. In this case, we have an order, and I'll wait the order in the other case.
Thank you, Your
And
Honor.
abating it, probably might wait till spring.